From the Detroit Free Press in the heart of the Motor City, it's Monday, December 9th. Here are today's top stories, presented by Bush's Fresh Food Market. Bush's has over 4,000 Michigan products, including the freshest fruit and vegetables, meat, seafood, and baked goods. Stop by one of Bush's 16 locations for the personal service you expect from your neighborhood grocer.
This is J.C. Rhino for the Detroit Free Press. Tuesday, December 10th will mark the 5th anniversary of Detroit's exit from bankruptcy. The city is in much better financial shape today than when it entered the bankruptcy in 2013. But there are challenges ahead. The first is when the city resumes making pension payments starting in mid-2023. The second is when expenses start exceeding revenues in the later 2020s. And yet another is when the so-called grand bargain money from the state and the foundations stops in the mid-2030s. City officials say they have the situation under control and there is no danger of a second bankruptcy. They note that Wall Street analysts recently upgraded the city's bond rating, even though the bond rating is still considered junk.
For the Detroit Free Press, I'm Angie Jackson. A pair of bills introduced in the Michigan Senate on Thursday would make it easier for people with juvenile records to get a second chance in society. Under the proposals, kids who stay out of trouble would automatically have their records wiped clean. This would apply to all juvenile offenses, except those that require a life sentence or cases waived to adult court. This comes at a time when expungement reform for adult criminal convictions is gaining bipartisan support in Michigan. A bill introduced by Republican Senator Peter Lucido would seal juvenile court records to everyone except law enforcement. Michigan is currently one of 7 states that makes all juvenile records public. That's according to the Juvenile Law Center in Philadelphia. Lawmakers expect their proposed legislation to remove barriers to education and employment for people trying to move on from the mistakes of their past. This is a historic milestone for juveniles, Lucido said.
I'm Susan Tompor, and I'm a columnist for the Detroit Free Press. A simple little TV ad for a high-end exercise bike has turned into a firestorm this holiday season, where instead of working out, Americans are getting worked up over Peloton. Across social media, some people have criticized the ad and wonder why the woman in the commercial is so timid. And she really doesn't appear all that much stronger or more confident at the end of a year's journey on her Peloton bike. Does she feel compelled to get up at 5 a.m. every day to exercise just because her husband bought the bike for her for Christmas? Some wonder how a company can even run such an ad after the Me Too movement. The ad might seem harmless, but the message is far behind the times. The Peloton ad certainly is triggering strong opinions, where fans say critics are simply jealous of people who live in gorgeous houses with exercise bikes that cost more than $2,000. Fair enough. I'll give you my take and a bit of the back and forth at my house in my Free Press column.
This is Christina Hall with the Detroit Free Press. Animal rescue groups and fosters watch over animals in need. But who's watching them? No one. But that could change. Advocates say many people claiming to be animal rescues are really hoarders. Or they are breeding rescued animals and passing off the offspring as rescues. Or they are bringing in animals from other states or puppy mills and adopting them out, even if they are sick. Now, a state senator in Michigan is pushing a bill that would regulate animal rescues. He wants animal rescues to be registered with the state and keep records of the animals they take in and those that go to foster homes. Several animal welfare advocates say they support state oversight for the estimated 400-plus home-based animal rescues in Michigan. Each rescue, they say, could have 10 to 100 foster homes.
This is Free Press Sports Editor Chris Thomas. It's Michigan versus Alabama on New Year's Day. And if the year was 1990, you might even care about it. Kidding, of course. Because if there's one thing that can ease the sting of Michigan's blowout loss to Ohio State, at least during this offseason, it's the idea of beating Nick Saban's Crimson Tide in a battle of college football blue bloods. Yes, it's true Alabama doesn't give a hoot about beating Michigan in the Citrus Bowl. After all, the Crimson Tide has advanced to the college football playoff in every season since its inception in 2014. It's also true that Bama likely will be missing a few of its stars, who will decide to skip the bowl game and instead start preparing for the NFL draft. Michigan would be so lucky if that's the case. Because it doesn't matter if the Wolverines beat an unmotivated Alabama team or even a depleted one. A win over a juggernaut like the Tide is exactly the type of game that can send a message on the recruiting trail. It can quell fan apathy. It can re-energize a coach in Jim Harbaugh, who at times this season has looked as if he had lost his spark. So yes, as the Wolverines get set to go bowling, joining the likes of Michigan State, Western, Central, and Eastern Michigan in the college football postseason, there's plenty at stake. As long as Michigan doesn't get blown out, of course.
For more stories from the Detroit Free Press, be sure to check out freep.com. That's FREEP.com. If you want to support our quality local journalism, subscribe. Go to freep.com/special offer. See you tomorrow.